And we not talking about OGs. We talking about somebody that's like current now. We don't even got someone that's in the big three.
Facts.
We don't even got somebody that's in the Big Ten. You know what I mean?
Yo, hold on, wait. Big Ten. Let me
shit.
think. Let's think.
And while you think, I would love
Favi?
in the Big Ten.
Oh, we talking about rap or music wise?
We could go either one. We don't gotta say no names.
Right.
We don't gotta say no names. But real shit.
Nah, you're right.
Everybody
but
else is
really
running it. Everybody else is running it.
You totally right. Cause even though we don't got nobody in it, we might have somebody in the Big Ten. We might not. But nobody cares about the Big Ten. We really care about the Big Three.
Right.
Because what was the first Big Three?
It was all us. We started that Big Three shit.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Biggie,
we're not even a part of
Nas?
it. Yeah. And we not even a part of it.
Then there was
even Pac. Pac got into the conversation. Pac,
it was Pac. Yeah, Pac. It was Pac, Biggie, Jay.
Yeah.
Pac, Biggie, Nas. You know what I mean? Jay, Nas, Big. Then you had Jay, DMX, Ja Rule. You get what I'm saying? It was always like New York always had somebody in that top three.
Some type of representation.
Yeah, there's no representation in the top three right now.
And at the same time, I understand it. Don't get me wrong. I ain't some like scorned old New York nigga here, like thinking that I'm not in tune with what's going on. The South is running it. The West is running it. The Midwest is doing their thing. And New York, we had it for years. But I feel like the ultimate moment will be when all genres, all regions are all popping at the same time. We've yet to see that. I think that's the next, like, that's the Avengers Endgame, like, everything is fire is when all regions and hip hop is just flourishing on another level. And I think we in that direction, because we were having a conversation earlier talking about Kendrick and this whole situation, and I feel like it's kind of a reset button. Because before this beef, before all these records we get from Kenny, I feel like as a lyrical rapper, it was kind of disappointing. It was quiet out here. Very
much.
Because you look at what's out, you look at what's popping, you look at what the people want, or what's just out, and you look at there's really no space for it. Like, yeah, there's lyrical rappers out there. There's people putting out music, and if you like this guy, you'll check for him and you'll follow him. But as far as being on on the highest levels, it was really just Cole waving that flag. Outside of Cole, there was really nobody else on the mainstream level. So I feel like this kind of gives hope to lyricism. This was like a battery, or like energy into lyricism, and kind of just like even the playing fields between like commercial rap and really like saying something meaningful. So I think this inspires a whole nother generation. Like my son, he listens to Travis Scott, he listens to Playboi Carti, he likes Drake, he likes Kanye. But then now I see him listening to Kendrick, and I'm like, yeah, like balance it out. Like he does music. We got some shit coming, but now it's kind of evening it out. Like, yeah, you can make your songs, you can make your sing songs, you can make your vibes, but then now you thinking about what you're saying. There's like different rhyme patterns. It's all about styles. It's just more styles added to the table. So I think this is even bigger than Kendrick and Drake. It's just a style thing, just a hip hop thing, a culture thing. I think this reset button was needed, because it hasn't even, you take out the players, just the excitement around rap. We haven't seen this in a long time. We haven't seen this type of excitement in a long time. So shout out to those guys. They've been they doing their thing, man, for waving the flag, both Kendrick and Drake.
Facts. But why you think New York can't unite like the West?
It's a few factors. It's culture.
Okay.
Like West Coast on the West, they've been able for some reason, for them being known as like gang territory and violence and all that stuff. When it's time for peace, they all come together. You see Schoolboy, dapping it up with YG, from two different sections, two different sets, coming together. But when it comes to New York, it's still so divided. It's still so divided. And I think that plays a part. People just not willing to say fuck it and just piece it up. It's just not a lot of peace. There's peace amongst maybe the OGs, you know, to a certain extent. Certain guys, you know, who were at odds at one point. Now you see them together. Now you see them could be cordial and shit like that. But New York is still very separated. It's still very separated.
Do you feel like YG think he's the king of the West?
In his own mind, maybe he's the king of his section.
Do you think Schoolboy Q think he's the king of the West?
No, so that's the thing too. So there's that issue with wanting to be king. Like everybody wants to be the king of New York, so there's that level of competition. But when you look at the West Coast, everybody's pretty much giving up to Kendrick.
Fact.
They pretty much give him that, but at the same time, everybody else still flourishes in what they do. Yeah, that's a fact.
I think
that's a problem. Yeah, that's the issue with New York. Yeah, it is.
So I would say I think what New York can do is actually we need to actually for once, instead of like, you know, we've always been the trendsetters. We've always been the one to set culture.
Yeah.
Now it's just like we're not setting culture, and it seems like because we're not the ones setting culture that we feel like we can't, you know, impact culture.
Right.
That we have to actually follow these other trends.
Yeah.
Which necessarily you do until we get our foot back in. So I would actually take what the West does. Like, is just one king. There's only gonna be one king of New York. Whoever that choose to be, whoever that is, the people decide. Yeah. But that doesn't make every other artist feel like, yo, I have to go for the throne of King of New York. You could be the king of your section. You can be the king of, you know, where you from. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And all kings can't get along with each other. There's kings amongst kings. You know what I mean? And I think when New York starts to develop that mentality, I think they'll be okay. We'll start to get that unity back. We're still healthy competition because there's still a healthy competition in the West.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But I feel like New York's problem is there can only be one person. Yeah. And that doesn't sit right with anybody striving for that. Nobody wants to be the king of East Flatbush. Nigga wants to be the king of New York and all 5 boroughs. Yeah. But to be the king of East Flatbush, like, that's powerful. To be the king of Brownsville, that's powerful. To be the king of Coney Island, that's powerful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they all can strive. And I get it. And I would take it from, which I see this mold in street basketball. Mm-hmm. Because you got Isaiah Whitehead tournament. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying, which is in Coney Island Projects. Mm-hmm. Then you got Zone 6, which is in the Star. Mm-hmm. Then you got Gersh, which is in East New York. Mm-hmm. Now you got, those are the 3 top tournaments to me that's in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
If you ask me if I had to put it in order, I'm going Gersh first. And then there's a toss up between, you know what I mean, Zone 6 and Isaiah Whitehead. But I'm going to give it to Isaiah to go number 2 because they have Isaiah Whitehead and Lance Stevenson backing them up. Okay. You have the same teams that play in multiple tournaments, in all 3 of these tournaments.
It's the same players.
You got the same players in the most part, but they may switch teams. They may, like, you know what, I may be playing with Irk Production and Gersh, but in Zone 6, I'm running with Gas Boys. You get what I'm saying? So stuff like that can happen.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, all 3 of those tournaments can coexist in New York City, and it makes New York City basketball so great.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? If these tournaments start beefing with each other, I feel like that's when it starts taking away from the culture. Right. You get what I'm saying? Because there's unity. I do see Raslam always showing up to Gersh. I always see Raslam always showing up to Coney Island. The same thing with Lance and Isaiah. They go to Gersh. They go to Zone 6. They show love. The same thing with Gersh. Like, they go and they show love to Zone 6.
There's that camaraderie.
There's a whole camaraderie.
They all support each other.
Yeah, so I think if New York rap could take the mold of New York City, where New York City basketball is at right now, there's a lot of unity in that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's better for the kids. So if it's better for the kids on the basketball, then I think it'll be better for the artists, better for the rappers. And then it's just like, we don't mind there being the king of New York. We'll support that king and we'll back that king up. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Because when the king is in trouble, he's going to the other kings to ask for help. Right. You get what I'm saying? Right. And that's how, you know, New York should move. Yeah. And like I said, when New York get the unity back, that's when we get the culture back. And until then, you know what I mean? We riding everybody else's wave.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. Because you see it, our lingo, the fashion still plays a part. It's still prominent. even our lingo, yeah, how we speak is still you see it on the internet. You see other people emulating it and shit like that. So it's just like you said, just to take a page from that, and then and just applying it to the music. I will say for New York, we haven't championed anyone. Like, you know, when the Migos is hot, or whether it's 21, whether it's Future, whoever it is from Atlanta, whoever is from the Midwest, you see the city, you see those sections get behind that artist. New York don't really do that. It's so competitive here, and it's a culture thing because, you know, we're raised to not speak to anyone outside.
Facts.
Unless it's like somebody on your block that you know. You know, we don't really speak to anyone. So that draws a line right there. But it's just certain habits and certain things that we do. We gotta get out of the habit of doing, and yeah, it's unifying. Now, will it happen? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But there's room for it.
In fact, there's room for as long as we keep the talks the way we talking.
Yeah.
We take out the personal. We get it, once we get the whole world and the whole country to see that it ain't personal.
Yeah.
We can start to begin the healing. We can start to begin the unity.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because 9 times out of 10, there's no unity because people taking things personal. Right. So we the standard, we the staple, and we gonna show them that it ain't personal. We're gonna keep on showing that it ain't personal until we get what we want. Because what we want is for New York to be united. Facts. Because at the end of the day, I love what the West is doing, but I'm not from the West.
Yeah.
I want that from my home too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So shout out to the West. You heard? I'm trying to steal y'all niggas blueprints.
Fact, yay. Fact though, man. But yeah, great time for hip hop.
Facts.
And I'm anxious to see what happens next. You know, I know we got shit coming. I got shit coming, but I do want to see like how does this affect rap moving forward. You know, like what's the next? You know, They Not Like Us is is like the biggest hip hop song now, but like what's gonna be the next sound that comes out? What's gonna be the next song that comes out? Who else is gonna start, you know, stepping up to the plate and putting shit out?